Let's start with the tablet. First things first, we're gonna get this off. You know, I feel like the actual screen protectors you put on these really just don't do anything. I'll put them on and they effectively do nothing because they still manage to break it. Like in this case, they actually broke the surface just on the digitizer, which is the component that you touch to interact with. I feel like if anything wouldn't break, it'd be that. This really doesn't want to come off. I don't plan on reusing it, but at the same time, if I'm not careful, it's going to crack into little pieces. It'll be a real pain in the ass to remove from the screen. It's already broken along the edge, so I'm just basically removing the broken pieces along here. I don't need to be super gentle. I just need to make sure it comes off in one big piece. All right. Damn, that is one big ass crack. So this took some of the damage, but not all of it. It is straight through end to end. So he is telling me that he will not have any input on the actual tablet. It turns on, charges, everything's fine there. Just quickly demonstrate that as well. His problem is that you can't do anything once you get to the login screen. Save. No input whatsoever. It's not detecting any of those me touching it right now. It's very uncommon. I don't generally get this problem. Usually what ends up happening is they damage the actual LED display. This is a crack straight through the digitizer, all the way through, end to end. So that's a first. It's generally not this. Nothing. Completely unresponsive. So if I hold the power button on here, just keep holding it, it will turn itself off. We'll remove power so it doesn't turn it back on. Okay, let's get in this thing. So what I'm going to be doing is taking apart the panel, and then I'm going to grab another one off the shelf here that might have a working screen, but it's got something else wrong with it. And make a happy tablet. Try to. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It can be as simple as a USB port. I've replaced those on here, and those worked out. But the problem is they find something else to break, and usually 9 times out of 10 it's the screen. I think at least one more of my boys has cracked screen, but it is still functional, so I don't need to get involved yet. It's when it becomes not functional that I care, because I gotta go fix it. Just gotta find that seam, see? Every tablet is more or less the same idea. You just gotta find where it comes off. Usually the screen is all one piece. And you're just gonna kind of look for the little plastic clips. I actually broke the plastic on the USB port here, so I'm gonna be extra careful. USB auxiliary port for audio. I'm just gonna carefully run this pry tool all the way along the edge. Just undoing these little plastic clips. And if you get a lot of tension, you don't want to bend the screen too much. Remember, the LED display is working, so we have picture. So potentially I could get the digitizer off this thing. Potentially, but I say potentially because there's a good chance that that digitizer is all one assembly. It's usually like factory glued, and that's probably not going to be an option. But it might be. I could always do a little more research and see. Curious. Once I get this panel off, that's when I can kind of look at it a little more and experiment. Plate off. Button always comes out. I'm just going to set that off to the side. I don't lose it. This is the thing we care about. So first and foremost, the thing that I'll always do, whatever device I'm working on, we are going to unplug its power. And the reason for that is if I touch two things that are not happy with metal touching them, that could cause problems. It's an easy way to break a component by accident, especially with metal on metal contact. I need something flat and long for this. I need to tape this extra tight. I've opened a few of this particular model. This is the tightest I've seen them do it. All right. So just two pieces pushing outward like that. Unplugged. So that battery has removed power, so this no longer has any power running through it. So we can do this, and this won't cause a problem. One of the things I'm going to be very mindful of, this is soldered directly, this component. really. This is the Wi-Fi part. So they actually solder that directly on, as you can see. There is a thin connector wire, and that is the actual antenna for the Wi-Fi. And then the ground is there's a solder blob there just holding it separately. This is a huge pain in the ass to reconnect. Not fun. I have one at least that I could fix, but in this case, I'm probably gonna steal the screen off of it instead and call my losses because it's once you cut this or disconnect this, it's really difficult to get to working again. At least the way it was. But it's not impossible. The main thing is you want the actual signal range, the piece that's going to reach out to the rest of the wire, all the way along the edge, soldered to. I guess I can show it on the desk. So that's soldered on the board there, and then it runs all the way along to this little flat piece here. And this um, needs continuity. Same idea. You got the little antenna piece here that's directly connected to like a flat piece of copper kind of deal. This gives you your signal range for your Wi-Fi. If this is disconnected, your Wi-Fi range becomes very poor. Like I'm sitting next to my router now. If I was to leave this room, I'd have no Wi-Fi. And even then, it's like not even full full reception next to the router. So bad, very bad. So as I said, what I'm probably going to do is take everything out of this one to put it into another one. And the reason that I'm thinking I'm going to do that is because this panel most likely doesn't come apart. You know what? Let's start. Either way, I have to take the frame apart. And I'm kind of curious because I don't usually like spend time actually doing the whole tear down. So let's do an actual tear down of this guy and let's see if this LED panel is actually not glued. Because I'm seeing the edge of the corner here, which leads me to think maybe it's not actually stuck in here, and this is the outer frame. That'd be nice because that means that I could actually just replace the digitizer and I'd actually have an okay screen, which would be cool. So I'm going to just start by removing the ones that I see. I see some outer screws here. I'm going to be mindful of the ones that I replace, the ones that I remove. Keep them all together over here. Is there any more like that? No, let's see on the corner. Okay. Looks like these screws are all the same size. So I don't have to worry about long screwing any of these. That is when a screw length is randomly longer than the rest of the other screws in the body because that's a special screw that maybe holds multiple components together. The downside is if you install that where it is intended to be a shorter length screw, you could potentially put a screw through a component or even the screen, worst case scenario, which obviously is very bad. Going around the edge, taking my time. We're not in a rush. The worst thing you can do is start rushing and not paying attention to what you're doing, because that's when you start making stupid mistakes. Expensive mistakes. Well, this tablet's maybe like 60 bucks. So, depending on how you are financially, you can determine if that's an expensive mistake or not. Hmm. It's not. Looks like a sensor and the accelerometer. Okay, so that's off. So these little plastic pieces should pop right out. Never pull too hard. They should just come out on their own with not a lot of effort. If you start pulling and ripping, you're going to crack these really, they're very thin plastic. So that's all out. Again, this Wi-Fi assembly, not going to tear that apart. I want to leave this connected and intact. This should just come off. This is your speaker. Let's move all of these screws to the magnetic spots. I have a few of them. These are harder to bump, and I am notorious for accidentally bumping and knocking screws. Oh, I'm looking at this real quick. I do realize potentially, are you longer? They're not all exactly the same length. Doesn't want to focus. There we go. Very small, but oh, okay. One is slightly longer than the other. You get the idea. I don't want to play nice, so I'm not going to make them. These two speakers, just going to flip up. They're actually, is this supposed to be removed? Maybe not. Or maybe it was like a tape they didn't apply. This is stuck. This. Just going to be mindful here. I don't want to disconnect anything excessively if I don't need to. This connector, this ribbon connector here, this one, is for the digitizer, and I can see it's going to the outer bezel of the screen. This long one running way across the battery is for the panel, which is right, the silver box here. So I'm thinking these are actually potentially not glued. They are, I mean, I know they're separate, but it's not like one solid assembly. So I can take advantage of that detail. Out. Put that back down. These latches are also very sensitive. Little plastic piece here you flip up. Like no strength, no effort to flip them. If you apply any force to these, they will rip right out, and you will probably never get them back in. And if you think you're gonna solder a new one on there, forget about it. They melt like crazy. At that point, you're best off just replacing the whole fucking board. This should come out pretty easily now. We're going to just lift the tape on here. Careful not to scratch anything. Now, usually I'll say use plastic, but a lot of my plastic pry tools are really rough shape. I need more. just like that. Out. I don't want, I guess it doesn't matter, that's the back side. Very sensitive cable. We're gonna be very careful. Okay. LED display disconnected. We disconnected the battery when we started. We're going to just quickly pull this off. There we are. Still stuck over here. Oh, it looks like we got another ribbon connector underneath there. Is it unused? Oh, this is the ribbon connector for the actual LED. I'm going to leave it connected. There's no reason to disconnect it. This should all be loose and free moving. What is stuck here? We've got, looks like these ribbons are actually, that one's not. That one's also not. I'm just disconnecting the cameras, front and back camera here. Can't really see it too well because the bezel's in the way. There's also these connectors here. The buttons, just very, very gently. Oh, you know what? This in particular definitely needs a pry tool. There's a glue bond on the back of this. I'm going to sever with this thin piece of metal. I actually got this for my controller when I repaired the controller on my Quest 2. And I have used it since because it is very good for things like shimming, flat ribbons like this little PCB here, and also batteries. Just running it underneath the battery carefully. Obviously, it's very sharp, so don't cut the battery, but it's good for breaking the glue bond. Oh, I've used it a number of times just for that. Here we go. Okay, we're going to remove this from here. Just going to pull this out. Go. All right, this board should be free. What is stuck here? Oh, there's some tape on this guy too. Why? I'm guessing this is like the microphone. Stuck in there good. Could just unplug it, I guess. This one will unplug because I don't care about it that much. I'll take the speakers, they're easier to get out, so fine with that. This is all taped down real tight. And there we go. All this stuff is going to go off to the side. Screen protectors in my way still. Right there. Cool. Okay, so got our battery. This camera can come off. Just didn't come off with everything else. Just do that now. And this switch, I started to remove it. I probably don't even necessarily need to remove it because I could just use the switch on the other one, but I'm going to take it off anyway. It's already started it. And resticking it's not that hard. And this is, I think this is actually part of the bezel, so I'm going to leave that alone. So there's the actual LED display now. So my question is, how is this socketed in? It looks like there's this tab here. There's a few tabs around the edge. If I just lightly lift those tabs, can I pop this guy right out? I wonder. I need something flat and plastic. I don't want to use metal. I do not want to use metal here. Yep, that is exactly it. So just lightly on the corner here. Do that again. I did it off camera. So just a little insert on the side here, where the in between the clip here. You kind of see it a little bit. And this, just popping it out. And that's it. Very little pressure. I don't want to do too much because you will break it if you start going, especially on glass. But just lightly there. And I have no way to grab the rest of it. There we go. Just wiggle it out a little bit. And it is not glued. Look at that. LED display. Very cool. I don't want to get anything on this. The LED display and the battery are the only thing that's attached to this now. I'm going to move this all off to the side. I'm going to set it back in here, and that's only because I don't want to just leave it exposed. Do this. I'm not going to actually set it in, I'm just going to kind of lightly put it on top. But that is like the things that we care about, the main board, the memory, the stuff that he's going to want is over there, and the stuff that I need is really just this LED display. This digitizer frame is ultimately what I'm going to harvest from the other one. So we're going to do that real quick. Move this off to the side. Now, if you obviously have the digitizer PN which I do not. You could just probably order that. I am going to grab another one off the shelf, as I have tons of these stupid things. That is has a more smashed screen. I'm sure I have one in here that is not as smashed. It's acting my headset off. Let's see. I haven't looked at these in a while, so I don't even know what's wrong with them, if anything. This one, this one's funny. This is probably the one I'm gonna steal the part from, but uh, I used bodge wires and makeshift bodge wires. I soldered the positive and negative leads of the power button because the actual switch, this component here, and then the port on the board that it plugs into got damaged. So I had no way to actually power the tablet on or off. So I set it up like this so you can just touch the leads together. It's it's stupid, but it worked. So got a few more days out of it with these. If you understand how it works, it's not that hard to kind of figure out how to get a few more days out of something or make something work on the interim. Obviously, I replaced it. It came in like 2 days later, and he's using actually. I think this is the one he broke the screen on, so it's a fitting replace. No, it's just that's his brother. This one has a even more smashed digitizer. Oh, this one actually has a dead video out as well, so the video port got damaged too. So this is like a no-go in like all respects. Yeah, so we're gonna take out the other one. All right. It's so funny. I forgot about this. I'm gonna set this off to the side. And we're gonna do it all again. We're gonna open this guy up and we're gonna take this stuff out. Nice. Come on. This little piece never wants to come out for me. There we go. It's interesting how this they all seem to break in the same way. It's interesting how they managed to do that. So I'll quickly remove these. You can kind of see it's taped pretty intensely, and I'll show you why in a second. But This battery, are they rated the same? You know, this battery is actually larger. This was an older revision, so it's probably not better. Let's see, 500 milliamp, 3.8 volt. They're all 3.8. What's the rating on the battery? And I would suggest too, if you have an old tablet, especially if it's like a generic whatever, take it apart, take the parts out, the battery at the minimum. These lithium ion batteries, you'd be surprised. Like a lot of the times I'll part stuff out, just e-junk. Um, you can get hits on some stuff like pretty reliably, if you know what to grab. Like the battery is a good thing. Um, there's not a lot of modular components on these. A lot of people don't really like doing like soldering and board repair and stuff. Like the web camera, specifically, you grab the PNs on them too. So like what they came out of and what the part number is on the camera itself. Flex cables can go for a reasonable price. A lot of the times I'll take this stuff out. I'll kind of like I'll look at the parts that are still good and the parts that are eh. I don't really part out the tablets very often because I usually hold on to those components to do repairs later down the road, like I'm doing now. But I'm sure I'll accumulate enough of these things where I could probably just start selling off the components individually and move some stuff that way. So, looking at this, um, oh, sure you want to see what the fuck this is about. All right, let's move this over here. So I'm gonna just take this electrical tape off. Some capped on tape on there as well. I wanted to keep pressure on it so it didn't come off because that this red lead is very, very small, very, very small wires. Where's my tweezers? So you can see here, soldered directly to the negative anode. This one's pretty bulky, so it's simple to follow. This one here, we need the microphone, or we need the microscope for this. You want to see it? That's the wire right there, soldered to that little spot. That's what's running all the way out to that power cable, and it's kind of tied off there. That little spot there. So that's the positive for the switch. I tracked it down. I looked at the port that was damaged, which is this guy here. Um, oh, you know what? No, actually, it was next to it. It was this one here that is, it's ripped off, and it actually even has some torn pads. But I followed the pads, and that's why I figured out where it terminated to. So just use your head, look at what you need to do. In my case, it was the switch. There was no way to actually like connect all because all you're really doing is just connecting a wire when you push a button. So I was like, okay, well I can attach wires, and it worked. This is actually an older revision of these tablets too. I didn't realize originally this one has I think it had like less memory or something like that. So it wasn't even wasn't worth. Oh, you know, no, it might have been the processor. It was something. It was something that you would notice. I guess at some point the same model they started putting more stuff in it and they revised it, but they didn't change the actual like model, which is I thought was interesting. Little tiny wire right here. You touch there, you touch there, tablet turns on. I'm realizing now I didn't disconnect the battery, like my number one rule. Always disconnect the battery. So a lot other than the this battery's physically larger, pretty much identical everywhere else. Everywhere that matters anyways. So this one I'm not gonna spend as much time being delicate with because I don't plan on putting it back together. I do want to see what can be salvaged here. I don't generally like to do, like this is a little too bent. I wouldn't sell this just because once they start bending, actually that was the problem with the other switch, is that it bent too much here and it actually created a crack through the copper, which obviously breaks continuity, and then I had to do shit like this. So not ideal. Yeah, so this is never turning on again, so I'm just going to, well, do I really want to rip it off? I just think it's funny more than anything. That's why I don't really want to do that. I'll just leave it. Flip up all my connectors. Gotta disconnect everything. Yeah. I think the LED one, this one was good too. There's like the actual screen part is fine. I'll probably just to show the replacement of the bezel, I'll do that. Technically, theoretically, I could leave a lot of this stuff the same. Not really change any of it, and it would still work. Same deal. We're just going to remove all of the screws all around this here, and they're all the same size, so I don't have to worry about matching lengths. I think some of them are slightly longer, but it's like a negligible difference. So just manufacturing tolerance, I guess. I don't know. This is actually the board that I was trying to figure out. Obviously, soldering everything to ground, you're gonna have a really shitty connection. That's what it ended up having. So I kind of learned like, oh, there's a separate wire inside there, but wasn't worth fixing, so I didn't bother. Ah, yeah, there's a science to these. There's two separate wires, your outer and your inner coating, and they have to be kept separate, which I did not do. So, boo on me. Where is my tweezers? There they are. These I'm less worried about keeping together. This is all coming out. Oh yeah. Just keep these. I'll just keep these pieces together just because of the antenna bit. Doesn't actually work, but why mess with it? I'm just gonna throw it in there. All right. Rest of this crap's gotta come out. This has gotta come out. This has gotta come out. This has gotta come out. Please. Go. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Up. This is the annoying component I couldn't be bothered to move in the other one. I'm going to leave that connected because it does exactly the same job and it's got exactly the same connectors, so I can reuse it. I'm going to move all of this out up here. Goodbye. This camera ribbon connector can come out as well. This is part of the bezel. So this is the one thing with the digitizer. You can see they really smashed up that auxiliary port, and there's not really an easy way to fix that. Does this come out? Let's just try. No, it really doesn't. It's probably glued in. It is. It is. Look at that. Oof. That is one messed up looking. It's supposed to it's supposed to look like a rectangle. It looks like it took a bite out of it. Well, that's cool. Okay, so that comes off. This probably does come out, but it just doesn't seem like it's worth ripping at this just for a microphone. My kids aren't really using it anyways, so it doesn't make sense to rip at it. Let's see. The other one, I kept the ribbon cable in. I'll probably do the same here. Because I am, I'm taking the LED panel out. Double check that everything here lines up the same. Yeah, it looks like it's all the same. It's just the battery's a different model. I just want the bezel part. That's the part I want. Okay, so this comes out the same way. I need to remove this. Yeah, that's in there good. I don't want to rip at it because I'll definitely rip that right out. All right, now we're gonna flip this guy up, and I can use this. This will work. This one's glossy, shiny. The other one's, I believe, the other one's matted. That's interesting. That's a slight difference. That's the main part. That's the digitizer. This is the part you touch and it does things. I wonder why they did that, made that change. It's interesting. All right. Yeah, test fit it. This is the other one. This is the matte one. It is still a little shiny, but the other one's like glossy shiny. This is like a little bit more toned down. I think the matted one's nicer personally. This one corner's fighting me. Just gonna grab this and just it's a bit of a cleaning, but it functionally is exactly the same. Do I have any screen cleaner in here? Don't think I do. I should get some though. Never ever use alcohol or what's it called? Ammonia on these screens. You will damage them. Oh, you know what? I probably have. I think I have something. Yeah, I do. No, that's not it. Could have sworn I had those little clean wipes you get with the screen protector. You know, speaking of, do I have any screen protectors? Not that it fucking did anything for me, but if I have a spare one, it's got a little cleaning thing in it. I do. I do have one. Okay. I definitely need it for this kid because he is very destructive with his stuff. All right. Oh, I just realized the oh, it's the that's the webcam. I already knew that. Never mind. Why is this little thing in the bottom then? What it actually does? I have no idea what that is. Maybe it's like proximity sensor? Weird. Anyways. Wet and dry wipes. The main one that I want is this wet wipe because it's got a cleaner solution on it. And I can use all this random crap off. Looks like there is some. No, well, no, scuffing. It's all scuffing. That's all this is. Kids with dirty hands touching their tablets. This is like completely dry. It's okay if it's not perfect. I just need to make sure that it's working, and if everything is working okay to my liking, then I will proceed to move along. Okay. Alrighty. So this is all the junk from the other tablet. I'm just going to move this off to the side because I'm not reinstalling any of this. And we will instead install all the stuff we do want to install. I'm going to flip this around so I had it facing this way before. This screen protector I will put on after. Right now we're going to focus on the reinstallation. I'm going to just fit in some of the flex cables that were in specific spots. So this guy here is your webcam. This is sitting underneath that bezel you saw earlier, about here. And then it's kind of like the greater assembly. The power button. Just gonna lightly set that in there. I also need off of this one. This is in better shape. This port, I can't really see it, but that auxiliary port is in better shape, no bite. So I'm going to extract this and put it on here. It's probably a job for that little aluminum strip from earlier. Okay. And that goes right here. And grab all this big assembly of stuff. Just throw it down on top. Just going to loosely fit everything into place. This goes roughly around here where this camera is supposed to go. Here. Yep. Loosely fit that there. This here. This is the LED control connector. I like to start getting everything kind of where it's supposed to go before I go and start installing all the screws. Get it back roughly where it was beforehand, before we got into this mess. And then you start connecting stuff one by one. Nice thing about this is I don't need to install a single screw, and I can test that this is all working once I get the connectors in. Because I didn't go out of my way to disconnect everything, like these for example, I'm not going to lose where they were supposed to be. This remained connected. We'll see it's in all the way this connector here. I'm just gonna pull this back a bit. Gonna line up that USB-C. I'm just eyeballing the location of where the screws go. The absolute worst thing you can do is apply too much pressure when reinstalling these and bend them. I've literally broken them doing just that. Like any force at all, if you can avoid it, do it. Just need to get this to go. It needs to line up to the connector, and then I can just kind of slide it in. Go. Beautiful. Now I could put some screws in here just to hold the board in place, but that's really not necessary at this stage. You can if you want, just because if you're having a hard time getting it to stay still, but I'll just kind of fiddle with it and use tape and get her going. Just kind of focusing. There's not a lot to say here. You can kind of see it's self-explanatory. Just reconnecting connectors, focusing, taking my time. This one really does not want to go in. What? What the fuck? Why is it fighting me so much? Go in! Here I'm thinking I'd save time. Oh, I think I just got it. Yeah. No, I won't disconnect this. I'll save lots of time to doing that, and then that happens. Typical. All right, I'm gonna throw the tape on this because whatever it is, it really doesn't want to move. So we're gonna let it stay in its spot. This is a little of a track here, so I'm just gonna keep that in there. Very nice. And this tape here is intended to keep all these crazy wires together, so let's flip that back up. Grab all those crazy wires. I'm not going to get overly fancy here. I'm just going to make sure they don't fly around. And there was one piece of tape that actually went on all three of these ports as well as this. And that's just to keep it from unplugging itself by accident, which I'm okay with. Last thing I want to do is have to go in here and fiddle around with this after the fact. All right, so that is, I believe I have connected everything minus the battery on this. Oh, that's interesting. Twitch has achievements now. What's that about? Like clockwork. Stream for 2 unique days in the last 30 days. Stream. Use the platform. Achievement unlocked. It's like a participation ribbon. Oh, is it backwards? Did I goof it? I might have goofed it. Yeah, I goofed it. Okay, that's fine. Easy fix. Cool beans. Let's test it. This one might be this one actually. There it is. I just want to see that the actual touch part is working, and then I can put all the screws in and close it up. It's just laggy. These are kids' tablets, so they're not exactly super duper fast, but you can tell it's definitely working now. Because before I wasn't doing anything, so that's a success. And do a little bit of cleaning on the screen, and then I got to close everything back up. But that's realistically it. I mean, these are fairly straightforward. All these really are at the end of the day. The most expensive parts are your battery, your actual LED panel, which is just a flat panel, and then kind of inserted in a bezel like this glass layer is your digitizer. So that's it. No magic. Um, One of them breaks, you replace them. If you see you still got a screen, it's your digitizer. If you can touch it, but you've got weird artifacting or lines, or you know how screen gets cracked, how generally it will look kind of screwed up. It's probably your LED display. If it's neither, it could be the connection, like the connector could be damaged. It could be the board itself is dead, or is not powering on for some reason. There's a number of reasons for that. A lot of the times when I'm troubleshooting these, the first things that I'll check is, does it charge? And if I see that it's charging, and I have a little LED, I have a piece for that. So I'll plug it into this guy, and this will tell me its voltage right off the cuff. Do I have an easy way to show that? I don't think I do. 1 second. Wow, this just does not want to play ball. I have an extension cord somewhere, I swear. I can't find it at the moment. Okay, that's roughly it. So currently not plugged in, not doing anything. Going to try to plug it in on this port here. You'll see plugged in. Amperage goes up. It's doing something. That's what I'll look for. Now, if I don't see any change, or I see weird stuff like it's reporting like nothing for the output, because the main thing there is the milliamp hours is your transfer. So 676 milliamp hours. If I unplug it, it's really hard to do because it's kind of, no, it's not attached to nothing. No powers happening. So that's the first thing that I'll check. My kids bring me a tablet upset, it's not turning on. Always just check, is it charging? If it's not, try a different cable. If it's not, try cleaning the port. I mean, physical inspection too before plugging it in is not a bad idea. It could be bent pins internally. I don't have any videos of it, but I'd like to. I'm sure at some point they'll do it. I have tons and tons of USB ports just for that. Desoldering the one on the board, putting a new one on. Not hard to do, fairly straightforward, especially for tablets like these that only have the one row of pins. They're fairly easy to do. Not hard. $10 on Amazon for like a pack of 10. Uh, saves you a $60 tablet. There's lots of things you can do to save yourself $60. But mind you, then you need to go get the soldering equipment, the rework station. I could see people not wanting to do that just to fix a $60 tablet. I see it as like attrition. I've got 5 kids. They all want their tablets. The way I view it is, well, they're going to break it inevitably. Let's make sure that when they do, I can say, okay, put it in my office, and when I have a chance to go and fix it, I'll go and fix it. And I'm trying to make a conscious effort to do that more. So I plan on streaming just those opportunities when they arise. And if that's something you're interested in, feel free to follow. And if it's not, well, all right. I don't really have anything for that. I mean, you do you, man. It's all good. So I'm going to just pop some screws back in. And get it all closed up. And then I can put this on the it's done shelf, and my kid can come collect it. Now, I don't just do repairs. I actually did a repair for a customer yesterday that, of course, the stream didn't save, but that was one that I had troubleshoot off screen with the customer, and and determined that the flaw ultimately was the actual port. So yeah, there's a pattern here. Usually it's the port. I mean, you insert a cable, you unplug a cable, you do it 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times if you're really lucky. You're gonna break it. It's a physical connection. Physical wear is a thing. Physics is a bitch. You need to be prepared to replace things when they break, because things break often, especially more nowadays. These are designed to break, but they can be fixed. If you pay attention to what is broken and how it's broken, you can figure out what you need. Even if you can't, you can open her up. I mean, you saw at the beginning, this had some wires on it, and now it is fully functional. So keep it out of a landfill, and more importantly, it can save you, well, probably not an extensive amount of money, but if it's something really valuable, like my Nintendo Switch, like even the used one, like broken ones, even in some cases, you're talking about like 100, $150 for like an actual, or for like a Switch Lite. For a Switch, it's like probably more, like 200 bucks. That's that's steep, unexpectedly steep, especially with the Switch 2 out. I assumed that those would go down in price. Not so. So it's not like I can just easily go grab a board off the shelf for those proprietary parts. And the Switch obviously is much smaller. I mean, I guess that components on here are small too. I'm not doing any board repair right now, but just a consideration. I don't know. Maybe it's completely unnecessary waste of your time. I guess in that case, don't bother. Um, I don't think it is. I think it's good to know things. I think that sometimes money really isn't an option. And if you just need to get a few more days out of that tablet and you know some stuff you can do to maybe make it work, then go for it. Why not? It's your property. Who cares? Who's it going to hurt other than you? Potentially be careful with soldering equipment. You know, I'm just looking at this now and I'm realizing I forgot that little metal plate from earlier. I probably have to go back and add that. And I'm pretty sure that metal plate was over here in the corner. Yeah, because this isn't, yeah, I should have questioned this a little bit more. It's not really holding anything. Oh no, it is holding the frame. I guess that makes sense. Come on. Oh, is it the wrong way? Is that why? That might be why. That would do it. Some extra reinforcement on that auxiliary port. I'm guessing kids are cramming stuff in there and breaking it. That wouldn't surprise me. This one is done. There is, it is functional. Again, I'm sure my kid will be very grateful when I get this back to him. I'm just going to throw this on here. Keep it all intact. That's already taped down. Let's do this one across here. Okay, we need the shell and the button for the shell. Just sits in here loosely. We're gonna grab the whole thing, flip it, insert just the part with the button. So that's the thing I want to line up. Get that first corner in. Everything else should click into place once you start getting it. And again, no, very little pressure, just lightly. You get a feel for how much pressure you should be applying. Done. Now, I need to clean this screen a little bit better, and I need to apply this screen protector before I give it back to him. So I'm going to go grab a cleaner real quick. Okay. When in doubt, baby wipe. They are fairly smooth, at least not rough enough that I'm worried about it scratching the screen too badly. But the liquid, non-alcohol, non, what's it called? I always forget. Ammonia, non-alcohol, non-ammonia, and I don't use the ones that have a scent. I use scentless, so these are pretty clean and don't have a lot of residue, so they're not going to streak. This is to get the actual screen clean because it is actually just physically dirty. So one of the downsides with this, there are little particles under the screen, which means they stuck while we were transferring. That's why I don't generally like to, um, while it can be fixed. I mean, once the screen's on too, especially, like they're not going to notice. So for my kids, not a big deal. But for personal repair, that's something to take into consideration. Generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, you probably just want to buy the whole thing, the LED and the LCD, just as like a whole closed assembly, because there's going to be no like chance of that happening, stuff under the screen or anything like that. But considering I had the parts on hand, this cost me $0, just my time, and I get to stream it for all of you lovelies. Worth it. Just going to quickly clean off the screen one more time before grabbing the sheet. Making Okay, line up this here. And we're just going to make sure there's nothing on here. It's a quick last ditch effort. And we're going to pull off the tab. Just trying to like put it on an angle, apply constant pressure. You can see it slowly adhering to the screen. That's it. Simple. But now it is scratch resistant. That's the main thing. But because it's a hard shell, if it gets hit with something sharp, what should happen is it breaks this and not the screen, although clearly that is not consistently happening given I have a cracked digitizer or had a cracked digitizer. So this is good enough. He's going to be happy, he gets a playable tablet back. I'm going to be happy that I got something off my workbench. It is a fair trade in my books. Look at this. Got the bumper case with the side protection. You got the screen protector on here. Still broke it. Impressive, truly.